Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jessie Brandt, Director of Programs and Operations for the Global Wellness Summit and Institute. We're so excited to have you here for today's webinar, Bringing Healthcare into the Kitchen, Harnessing the Power of Food as Medicine. Before we dive in, please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from around the world. Quick logistics, you can toggle between speaker view or gallery view at the top of your Zoom window. Please keep yourself muted when you're not speaking, and I will be muting everyone now. Speakers, just a reminder, when you start speaking to unmute yourself, please. If possible, turn your camera on. We love to see your faces and build connections. This session is being recorded, and we will be sharing the replay along with the chat transcript, any important links, and a slide deck in a follow-up email to everyone who registered. Feel free to post your questions in the chat throughout the webinar. We'll do our best to get to as many as possible, but please know we may not be able to answer them all.
Alo. Ne haber?
Sorry, let's see. Mute. I thought everyone was muted. Here we go. Sorry for that. Little bit about the Global Wellness Institute. We have several pillars. The initiatives are one of the pillars. Important, our mission is to empower wellness worldwide by facilitating collaboration, providing global research and insight, triggering innovation, and advocating for growth and sustainability. You can find more on our website. Heidi, maybe you can share a link to that. It would be fantastic. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Randy Gold, co-chair of the Lifestyle Medicine Initiative. She'll be guiding our discussion today and introducing our incredible panel of speakers. Randy, good morning. Over to you. And you are unmuted.
Okay. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Jessie, and welcome everyone. And thank you for joining us again for this enlightening and interactive event. This is going to be a really exciting one, bringing healthcare into the kitchen, harnessing the power of food as medicine. And today we'll be sharing with an amazing expert panel, and you'll walk away with the why, how exactly does unhealthy food cause inflammation, wreaking havoc on your health in a multitude of ways. The what will bring the visibility in an emerging field of culinary medicine, explain how blending nutrition and education and culinary skill building is magical. So it's not just doable in life, it sets the foundation for meaningful, lasting change. And of course, the how, right? The insights from behavior change science, equipping our audience to translate the new knowledge into their personal and professional lives and reclaim their own health through the power of food as medicine. Advance the slide. Okay, great. And here's our expert panel that, again, that you're going to hear today from. So we've got Dr. Melissa Sunderman, Dr. Deborah Doro, and Dr. Leanne Moriello. And so first off, I will tell you in advance, our chair, Dr. Melissa Sunderman, is traveling, but she did not want to miss this opportunity to participate today. So we're going to introduce her in a second. You can advance the next slide, but a little bit about Dr. Sunderman. She is really a true force in lifestyle and longevity medicine. She's affectionately known as the Doctor of Outdoors. Jesse, you can advance the slide. Great, there she is. And Dr. Sunderman's a double board certified in internal medicine, lifestyle medicine, with an additional expertise in integrative and mind-body medicine. For over 2 decades, she's combined clinical expertise with her passion for healing the power of nature. She's the founding chair of Nature as Medicine Subcommittee at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and she is my co-chair of the Global Wellness Institute's Lifestyle Medicine Initiative. We're shaping the global conversation on how daily habits in our environment can transform health. She champions the several pillars of health that she'll talk about today. She's an accomplished athlete. She's done 11 marathons, 3 Ironmans, and an ultra marathon. So she really lives the lifestyle. And her motto is age is just not a number. She inspires patients and audiences alike to embrace lifestyle medicine and thrive at any age. So without further ado, let's hear from our clinician, our athlete, and our star leader, Melissa Sunderman.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Randy, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Lifestyle Medicine Initiative, where we'll be talking about food as medicine. Like Randy said, I am Dr. Melissa Sunderman. I am the chair of the Lifestyle Medicine Initiative. Many of you may have heard of lifestyle medicine, and if you haven't heard of it, you're going to be learning about it a lot today. So I want to share what lifestyle medicine is, what the definition is. And this is from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and I am board certified through the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. Lifestyle medicine is the use of a whole food, plant-predominant dietary lifestyle, regular physical activity, restorative sleep, stress management, avoidance of risky substances, and positive social connection as a primary therapeutic modality for the treatment and, yes, possible reversal of chronic diseases. Yes, chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. These are actually reversible. Next slide, please. So the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, we have 6 official pillars of lifestyle medicine. I'm going to go through those quickly, and then we'll be honing in on one today. So starting off in no particular order, I like to think of these pillars as being spokes on a wheel, all equally important. So we have nutrition, food as medicine. That's what we'll be focusing on today. And we do advocate for a plant-forward, plant-strong dietary pattern. We like to say eat the rainbow. The next pillar is sleep. Sleep is truly our superpower, and really advocating and empowering our patients to get at least 7 hours of restorative sleep every night. The next is exercise, or as I like to reframe, movement, moving our bodies every day. Next is avoidance of risky substances and risky behaviors that do not serve us. Next is stress management and making sure that we have lots of stress management tools in our tool bag. And the final and official pillar is the role of connectedness. So connecting with others, connecting with ourselves, connecting to the environment. I'm also known as Dr. Outdoors, so connecting to nature. Next slide. Like I said, today, we're focusing on food as medicine, and you'll be hearing from 2 of my colleagues that will go more into depth. So food as medicine, let's make it pretty simple. Dr. Michael Greger, who is one of my colleagues from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, sums it up. Eat food where nothing bad is added and nothing good is taken away. Also, the author, Michael Pollan, says it very well. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. So these are very simple terms, but really carry a lot of meaning in how food can be medicine. Next slide. So we advocate, I said, for a plant-forward dietary pattern. So what is the definition of a whole food plant-based diet? Well, this is a dietary pattern centered on minimally processed vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes with nuts and seeds in moderation. It minimizes or excludes meat, including poultry and fish, dairy, eggs, added sugar, and processed oils. It's an evidence-based dietary pattern centered on whole plant foods eaten as close to their natural state as possible for disease prevention, treatment, and reversal. Next slide. So this is what a whole food, plant-forward dietary plate looks like. Eating the rainbow, you can see that half the plate is fruits and vegetables, all of those colorful phytonutrients. And then about a quarter of the plate are whole grains. So we see quinoa there, we see rice there. And then a quarter of the plate are protein. Protein is essential for us. And yes, we can get plenty of protein through plants, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, tofu, tempeh. So this is what we advocate our patients, our community, to be flourishing and nourishing themselves. Next slide. So what are some of the health benefits of a plant-forward, plant-strong dietary pattern? Well, we tend to see lower body mass indexes and body fat, lower overall mortality, from ischemic heart disease, reduced medication requirements. In my field, we talk about de-prescribing, trying to get people on lower doses of medications or maybe even coming off of medications. It advocates for a sustainable weight management. We see reduced incidence of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugars. Also can reduce risks of certain cancers, especially colorectal cancer. We see reduced obesity inflammatory markers. We see reversal of advanced coronary artery disease. We see this with the studies from Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. T. Colin Campbell and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. And also reversal of type 2 diabetes. Incredible. So a plant-based diet supports living longer, not just living longer. That's the difference between longevity and extending lifespan, but more importantly, extending health span and wealth span. Next slide. Again, whole food plant-based diet benefits. These dietary patterns are rich in complex carbohydrates and starches for fuel, but also contain fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And plants are high in fiber. Remember, animal foods contain no fiber, and fiber is so important for the health of our gut microbiome. Fiber is actually the prebiotics to nurture all 38 trillion organisms in our gut microbiome. Whole food plant-based foods are naturally lower in fat, but also contain healthy fats such as mono and polyunsaturated omega-3s and omega-6s. Also, whole food plants minimize and eliminates trans fats, saturated fats, and cholesterol. And plants contain ideal levels and type of protein. Plants are also micronutrient rich in vitamins and minerals and contain lots of antioxidants and phytonutrients, plant nutrients, lots of nutrients in our plants. And plants tend to have lower caloric density while having very high nutrient density. So this is just a brief brushstroke and an overview of what we'll be talking today about food as medicine. And so I'm going to turn it over to my other colleagues, and thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much.
Wow. I mean, that was incredible. What a great start to our session from our chairperson. Her passion and energy, I think you could feel it across the screen about lifestyle medicine. So the three takeaways that we'll circle back to there are: food is foundational, right? A whole food plant slant lifestyle is one of the most powerful tools that we have to prevent chronic disease. Health is one of the 7 pillars, because she talks about outdoors, not just one. Nutrition being the dominant one that we're talking about today. And age is just not a number, right? Each of us can choose vitality at any stage of our life with every step and every meal. So thank you again, Dr. Sunderman. So now it's my honor and pleasure. I just love Dr. Deborah Doro. You can see all her credentials there. She'll introduce herself with that said, but you know, she is incredible. Her expertise bridges science and lifestyle. She's a certified in plant-based nutrition from Cornell University, trained in culinary coaching at Harvard Medical School, and currently chairs the nutrition committee at the Northern American Society of Pediatric Gastroenterology, Hepatology, and Nutrition. So beyond the titles, what stands out is her passion for helping children and families heal through food, and her ability to make cutting-edge science practical and life-changing is incredible. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Deborah Doro.
Thank you, Randy, for your kind words and the Global Wellness Institute for the invitation to participate in this very exciting webinar. Dr. Sunderman already made the stage for us to go now in deep and talk more about the benefits of what focus here is food as medicine and a plant-forward diet. So let's start by discussing some of the key points in this presentation. The concept of food as medicine. This is a provision of a healthy food to prevent, manage, and treat diseases. Our daily food choices do more than just satisfy hunger. They can work as a form of medicine. Diets that are rich in nutrients, vitamins, minerals can help prevent and manage chronic diseases. by reducing inflammation, improving metabolism, and supporting a healthy gut. This idea is often called food as medicine. That means that food we enjoy every day, when chosen and prepared thoughtfully, can play a key role in keeping us healthy. In culinary medicine, blends the cooking techniques with nutrition science, empowering individuals to make a healthier food choices. Please, can you advance the first slide, Jessie? I just discussed that with you. And now, please, the next slide. Nutrition play a fundamental role in the management and monitoring of certain diseases, particularly chronic conditions. Currently, 1 in 5 deaths related to chronic and non-transmissible diseases such as ischemic heart disease, diabetes, and colorectal cancer is associated with suboptimal diet, which really underscore the importance of considering nutrition as a fundamental component of comprehensive patient management. Please, next slide. One of the biggest root causes of increased burden of chronic disease is our food environment and our standard American diet, which is low in fiber, vegetables, nuts, seeds, high in sodium, simple sugars, and processed meats and trans fat. Ultra-processed foods with increased amounts of salt, processed oils, sugar are ubiquitous, from the supermarket to the hospital cafeterias, comprising more than 73% of United States food supply. Next slide. As you can see, our standard American diet is in crisis. When 3 out of 4 don't eat fruit, 9 out of 10 don't meet minimum veg intake, when we have an imbalance of fats in the diet with more unhealthy fats and increased omega-6, which is pro-inflammatory, is low in fiber intake and excess in calories. Next slide. This slide shows that less than 10% of Americans are actually getting their daily dietary recommended intake of nutrients, vitamins, minerals. And guess what? This is setting up a stage for a very weak immune system. Next slide. This figure highlighted the impact of food on metabolic pathways, inflammation, and gut microbiome modulation. So the power of food is actually in our plate. When we choose high processed foods, look what happened with our intestinal layers. The inflammatory process starts with disruption of the tight junctions, causing permeability in the intestinal layers, promoting dysbiosis. And with that, there is an increase into inflammatory markers. So if a poor diet can cause the problem, a healthy diet can correct the problem and strain our microbiome and intestinal layers. Next slide. And as you can see in this slide, inflammation causes systemic impact in many organs, leading to serious conditions affecting vascular issues, promoting heart problems, arthritis, cognition, diabetes type 2, autoimmune disease, and cancers, and much more. Next slide. In this next table, you can appreciate the comparison of our SAD diet. It's so sad that the American standard diet called SAD, the acronym, with our anti-inflammatory diet all the way to the right in my front. So the anti-inflammatory diet is rich in vegetables, including a variety of colors, increasing daily intake of consumption of those phytonutrients and antioxidants. The protein source is mainly plant source of protein from legumes, soy, nuts, seeds, and also some fatty fish and lean protein. The main carbohydrate comes from whole grain in small amounts with a high fiber, reduced refined carbohydrates and simple sugars. And the diet is very rich in monounsaturated fatty acids and has much more nutrient density, which increase amounts of vitamins, minerals from all the spices and herbs with antioxidant properties. Next slide. As Melissa mentioned, and I here reinforce, as Michael Pollan say, eat food, not too much, mostly plant. Next slide. The pro-health and the pro-longevity effect of this anti-inflammatory diet can be summarized in these 5 impactful metabolic mechanisms I'm going to walk you through. So number 1, the lipid lowering effect is actually by reducing the saturated fatty acid. This diet is rich in monosaturated fat, as I mentioned, omega-3 fatty acids, and plant steroids, which can all contribute to lowering LDL cholesterol and coronary heart disease risk. Number two, the increasing phytochemical intake that we have come from the vitamins and minerals in fruits and vegetables, which contribute to the protection against this oxidative stress and inflammation. Number three, in terms of the modification of hormones and growth factors, the polyphenolic compounds, like for example, the anthocyanins, this beautiful purple pigment that contains certain foods, like in berries, in the skin of eggplant, this has been shown to impact into cell cycle by stimulating DNA repair as a protection mechanism in the pathogenesis of cancer. Number four, there is a reduction in amino acid and caloric intake when we compare the anti-inflammatory diet with the standard Western diet. This dietary methionine intake is on average 40% lower in these plant-forward diets. And because of this different ratio of animal to vegetable protein consumption, guess what? Methionine restriction has been shown to extend the average and maximal lifespan and protect against multiple chronic disease, in particular cancer. Number five, when you see this beautiful rainbow of colors of fruits and vegetables, this is the hallmark of the anti-inflammatory diet, which is the high content of fiber, which affect the gut microbiome by increasing the diversity and richness of certain healthy bacteria, which produces high levels of short-chain fatty acids, protecting against inflammation, allergic diseases, and other conditions. Next slide. Now, putting all this together, food as medicine promote access to nutritional follow-ups with therapeutical focus, enabling proper adherence to diet recommendations. Some interventions provide the appropriate portion sizes and the correct select of ingredients tailored to each patient condition. In the long term, it is anticipated that patients receiving an integrated approach with food as medicine have fewer hospitalizations, admissions, and better disease control. For patients with diabetes mellitus, for instance, nutritional management can help prevent hypoglycemic events and associated complications. Next slide. For a medical standpoint, these strategies that encompasses interventions such as medically tailored meals and groceries, therapeutic diets, and produce prescriptions. These interventions are implemented by healthcare professionals and offer a cost-effective impact for both the healthcare system and our patients. And culinary medicines bring a fresh, practical approach to healthcare by showing us that everyday food can be a powerful tool actually for healing. In combining the science of nutrition with the art of cooking, we can create meals that can not just taste good, but also support our health. Next slide. As we learn, and how can we eat more anti-inflammatory food? Through culinary medicine. We learned that about the healing power of food, culinary medicine can become a central part of personalized patient-centered care, offering sustainable and cost-effective way to improve our quality of life. In the coming years, food as medicine will likely play a larger role in healthcare, as more people recognize that now our daily meals can help prevent and manage chronic illness. Next slide. So the future directions is this really collaboration among healthcare professionals, chefs, policymakers, which will be key in creating accessible evidence-based nutrition programs. By continuing to investigate these areas through well-designed studies, this approach can help us to develop better guidelines that fully tap into the healing potential of food. Thank you.
Next slide. Wow, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible, Dr. Duro. I mean, it's all started to come together, right? Bringing healthcare into the kitchen, how much power is literally sitting right in our plates at home. So thank you for that. You know, 3 takeaways from that, we call them the 3 secrets, or food actually talks to our cells. Like every bite has the power to switch the pathways on or off, right? Shaping inflammation, hormones, even gut and microbiome. Poor diet drives disease, but healthy food can heal it. And culinary medicine is where the future is headed. So Dr. Dora, thank you so much for sharing that and for fueling that moment. It's empowerment, it's transformation, it's food is medicine. You know, don't forget, guys, if you're, if you could just put in the chat what your biggest takeaways are. We would love to hear when we get to the Q&A part, any questions you might have. So let's keep the energy and the conversation flowing in the chat. And now next up is another rock star in the field, a pioneer in lifestyle medicine. It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Leanne Moriello, a true trailblazer in health transformation and innovation. Dr. Moriello brings a unique combination of expertise in behavior change, science, digital health, and culinary medicine, all focused on one mission, putting health back into healthcare. She's led across teams, industries to design, test, and scale programs and products that don't just inform people, but actually transform their health and well-being. She currently serves as the executive director of the Bonnie Wessert Center for Healthcare Transformation in Grand Valley State University, and is the founder and CEO of Evolve Health Advisors, where she guides organizations and turns big ideas into practical strategies for health transformation. So a pioneer in lifestyle medicine, she's published extensively and presented around the world, inspired countless leaders with her vision on how small science-backed changes can lead to lasting results. So without further ado, Dr. Leanne Moriello.
Thank you, Randy, for that introduction. And hi, everyone. Culinary medicine is one of my most favorite topics to discuss. So this is truly a pleasure for me. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. As Randy mentioned, I entered this topic at the intersection of behavior change science and culinary and lifestyle medicine. Having spent a couple of decades developing and designing products and programs to empower people to optimize their health, I can confidently share that I have never seen anything as effective as culinary medicine is in helping people make meaningful change to their dietary behaviors, especially when culinary medicine is designed effectively and optimally. So I'm excited to share today some insights around culinary medicine that will equip and inspire you in your work and even in your own personal health journeys. Next slide, please. If culinary medicine is a new term to many of you, I wouldn't be surprised at all. In fact, back in 2016, when I was new in my role at the time with Corewell Health, I was pretty quickly tasked with figuring out what it would take to develop a culinary medicine program for the health system and for the community. At that moment, I had never heard of the term, so I clearly had a lot to learn. And one of the first outreaches I made was to Dr. Tim Harlan of Health Meets Food. He's now at the George Washington University, but at that time, back in 2016, he had a handful of years behind him, having built the beginnings of the program at the Goldring Center for Culinary Medicine at Tulane University. And within several weeks, he was here in Grand Rapids, alongside myself, community partners and physicians, and the program director of the local but world-renowned culinary school here at Grand Rapids Community College. And at that time, many chefs and registered dietitians and healthcare providers had never heard of the term culinary medicine. So we had a lot of education to do. And then we advanced to 2023, and culinary medicine was on the cover of Today's Dietitian. So it's certainly gaining visibility, but still has a long way to go to become part of kind of our popular culture, if you will. Next slide, please. So Dr. Duro previewed wonderfully what culinary medicine is, and I'm going to go just a little bit deeper there. As she mentioned, it is truly the intersection of the art of cooking with the science of medicine. So it's truly combining nutrition education, that powerful like why and how food can heal our bodies and help us to prevent or mitigate disease, along with that culinary skill building. What's really important for you to take away is culinary medicine is not about gourmet cooking. This isn't about producing fancy meals that will, win awards. This is really about breaking culinary medicine, is about breaking it down to really approachable, easy, cost-effective, and most importantly, delicious meals that you can cook at home. So it is about equipping people to have the skills to have them feel empowered to really quickly be able to throw a meal together that not only will be delicious, but also will help heal them and help optimize their health. Next slide, please. So culinary medicine can happen in many settings. The most ideal and perhaps the most fun setting is a teaching kitchen. And pictured here is the headquarters of the Lifestyle Medicine and Culinary Medicine program at Corewell Health, where not only I was lucky enough to help build and design their initial culinary medicine program, where we rented this space to hold culinary medicine classes. In time, with greater support from the health system, we were able to lease this space so that it became medical group space, and it is now the headquarters to their lifestyle medicine specialty practice as well. So lots of magic happens in a teaching kitchen. However, and actually one other thing I want to say is that what's really cool to see when you see culinary medicine in action and alive is that that magic happens regardless of the audience, whether it is medical students and residents that are in there learning themselves about nutrition education and culinary skill building for their own personal health and for their future practice of healthcare. That same magic happens if it is patients in the teaching kitchen that are trying to manage heart failure or prevent diabetes. And the same thing goes for community members that might be in the kitchen learning how to make plant-based meals more quickly to optimize their health, or perhaps it's community members that are struggling with food insecurity and childhood obesity in their household. The one constant really in the teaching kitchen is lots of smiles and laughter, lots of aha moments, curiosity, and just real joy at experiencing how delicious, good for you food can taste. Next slide, please. However, what if you're interested in culinary medicine, but you don't have access to a teaching kitchen location? Culinary medicine can happen in lots of different settings. Sorry, Jesse. Oh, can we?
Sorry, do you want me to go back?
Yes, please. Sorry about this, everyone. Back to the one with lots of
Yeah,
pictures.
I know, I'm fine. It's somehow not letting me go back. Let's see why.
Okay, well, while you work on that, I'll keep going.
Yes, sorry for
and then
that.
we can go back. No. So hopefully the slides will get going here in a minute. But in the meantime, I was saying, what happens if you don't have a teaching kitchen? Let's see. You go one more,
going.
Jesse.
Yeah, keep going. Here we go.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Sorry, everyone. This is, live, as you can tell. So thanks for everyone being patient. And thank you, Jesse, for working through that. So this is the joy and the laughter that you can find in a culinary medicine class. It's a little bit hard to depict here from the pictures, but I will just quickly break down what a typical class looks like. It is certainly different depending on the topic, the organization, or the population being served. But it typically begins with some kind of brief but compelling education by either a physician or a registered dietitian that addresses the topic at hand for that day. Really making that link of how food can help heal your body, whether the topic is weight management, like I said, diabetes prevention, or cancer survivorship. So after some brief education within the teaching kitchen, usually the class moves over to the kitchen and learns from a chef some specific culinary skills or specific instructions about key ingredient for that night. And then everyone breaks out into groups. They are paired up in teams of maybe 3 or 4 and assigned a handful of recipes or 2 to 3 recipes to make. And while they're making those recipes, there's lots of impromptu instruction and guidance from the staff. And one of the best parts is at the end, everyone is able to try all of the recipes that were made throughout the teaching kitchen that night. And as they have a shared meal, that really robust education and open dialogue happens again with whether it's a physician, registered dietitian, and or chef. So lots of, like I said, lots of great education, but also joy and fun. It's a great team bonding event as well. Next slide, please. So what I think began to say a couple of times is that what happens if you don't have access to a teaching kitchen? One thing that I love about culinary medicine is that it can happen in many different settings, even virtually. I don't know, Jesse, if you can go to that slide about virtual, and if not, that's okay. But culinary medicine can happen where the participants are in their home kitchen and are actually joining the class virtually and able to make recipes in their home kitchen, which certainly has its advantages. And then culinary medicine also can happen in more of like a demo style, where there's a chef, a physician, or a dietitian at a demonstration setting, providing education where people are watching. And that is flexible to be within a workplace, a community setting, etc. And finally, at times, community spaces can be kind of impromptu turned into temporary teaching kitchens with mobile food carts that can be leveraged to create a teaching kitchen environment. Jesse, there was a slide on virtual culinary medicine, but if we can't go there, we can go to whatever slide.
No, I don't think that.
No, they're going the wrong other direction,
yeah, but
please.
This was the next one.
Okay, we're missing a few slides, but we can just hold here and I will.
Think that's missing because, okay, you tell me. Should I go further?
Nope, we can stay here. Sorry about this, everyone. What I was going to say is I love helping organizations leverage the creativity that can be applied to design and create evidence-based culinary medicine programs that fit any organization, setting, population, topic, and budget. So how does culinary medicine fuel meaningful change to dietary patterns? The magic is really that the foundation of culinary medicine is grounded in principles of behavior change science. I learned in graduate school that education is necessary but not sufficient for behavior change. We must have that skill building. So really combining that education with the skill building is really powerful and really helps to create behavior change. We also know that a key strategy for making behavior change is having support. So a teaching kitchen class provides a community setting. It provides a group of people who are embarking on a similar change. And so it really fosters that concept of changing in community that can be very powerful. Even better is when culinary medicine can also be paired with access to a health coach or counseling with a registered dietitian that can then work with participants a bit in a one-on-one or group setting to be able to set goals, work on implementing change skills. That is when we can see even greater health outcomes. And embedded all of this often is inspiration. When folks are in a culinary medicine setting, inevitably they learn about success stories. People like them that started off where they are and then make a meaningful change to their health and transform their health. And participants then really embody that as a concept that they want for themselves in the future. So that inspiration is key as well. We can move on to the next slide. So I'll provide just really quickly a few kind of preview of the kinds of outcomes that are seen when culinary medicine is implemented in this more ideal way. And here you can see why I chose kind of an early pilot program we developed at Corewell Health is because then it really set the foundation for programs that we developed moving forward. And this was a program specifically for patients with heart failure, where across 6 months, they came into the teaching kitchen to have a group medical visit that was in the teaching kitchen. So a group of patients, all with heart failure, interacted with physician and chef, again, combining that, not only that education and culinary skill building, but also covering their heart failure diagnosis and what they were experiencing and various strategies to manage it. And then they rolled up their sleeves and they learned how what they do in their home kitchen can help them manage their heart failure. From there, they also met in a group with a registered dietitian for group medical nutrition therapy. Again, then really combining that behavior change and health coaching with that. And we can see that that type of arrangement and setup of a program propels these kinds of meaningful outcomes to BMI, A1C, and cholesterol. Next slide, please. And I know that with the slide hiccups, Randy, that we're a little over on time probably, so I'll wrap up. Okay. Randy, if you can just give me a signal if at some point I should skip some slides, I can do that. Thank you. Good. Okay. So I wanted to just briefly mention this national culinary medicine program, which is has the kind of characteristics of a palate reset. And I wanted to mention this because it can happen in a group teaching kitchen setting, or it is also a protocol you can do in your home kitchen, and it is really powerful. For 10 to 15 days, it's not that you fast, but you eliminate certain foods from your diet that will allow literally your taste buds to reset. So you eliminate sugar and salt and processed foods, and you really lean into those foods that Dr. Duro and Dr. Melissa Sunderman had highlighted earlier. And in addition to like turning over your taste buds, which allows you to really appreciate the deliciousness of whole foods. It also interrupts our typical behavioral patterns around diet. So whether that's a morning flavored latte, your trip to the vending machine in the afternoon, or that sweet treat in the evening, we also interrupt those behavioral patterns that, just we tend to repeat just because it's what we do. And this type of program gives success stories that literally leave goosebumps. And this is really within, 15 days. It is not uncommon for patients to either decrease or go off medication. So wanted to share that because it's something you can experiment with on your own in your own home kitchen. We go to the next slide. So as we wrap up, I will share just a few kind of, insights from the behavioral science space that are particularly compelling for dietary change. We know that most often when change efforts fail, it is not because of a lack of motivation. It is because perhaps people tried to change too quickly, kind of that cold turkey method. Perhaps they tried to take on too big of a change at once, or tried to overhaul many behaviors at once. So there's these common pitfalls that I'm often asked to speak to. And this is very relatable for diet, because within our diet quality or our diet behaviors are many micro behaviors. Again, whether it's what we drink, what we're snacking on, what we're eating as far as like fast food, what we're making in our kitchen, right? So trying to reduce processed foods, trying to bring in more whole foods. There's so many micro behaviors, and we're tempted to just overhaul our behavior. Our diet all at once. Next slide, please. But we know that kind of like overhaul effect doesn't usually work. And what happens is that when we jump to too big of a change or trying to do too much change at once, usually those change efforts fall flat. So we really need to appreciate that change is a journey. We're all at different places in that journey, and that it's really important, even if we feel ready, set, like we're ready to go, it's important to build a foundation of early change, of cognitive and emotional strategies, things that health coaches and registered dietitians and physicians can help you with, to really make sure you have that foundation so that the change can be meaningful and lasting. And this is why, it's so important that these types of insights are built into culinary medicine programs. Next slide, please. So I will wrap up today with just some kind of high-level principles of behavior change to keep in mind. Try to remember that change is a process. It requires patience. It doesn't happen overnight. That it requires us really being intentional and starting small to get to big results. Next slide, please. So the last thought that I will share with all of you is truly those small steps do make a big difference. When we make a small change to even one aspect of our diet, it builds our confidence. We kind of flex our change skills. It gets us ready to be more successful with the next step, whether that's leaning more into that change more deeply or adjusting other aspects of our diet. So thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you.
Pass it back to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was powerful and so real. And you reminded us that lasting change isn't about willpower or perfection. It's about meeting people where they are and giving them the tools that truly work. So, 3 takeaways from that. That we can take. Our education alone isn't enough, and skills matter, right? It's not just telling people what to eat, it's showing them how to cook, shop, and enjoy healthier foods. Small steps spark big change, right? Success doesn't come from overhauling everything at once. It comes from starting small, building confidence, and letting the momentum grow naturally. And of course, behavior change is something you talk about. Behavior change is a science, and with the right strategies that you implement so wonderfully at the right time, we can actually reset our habits, our palates, and our health for good. So, wow, thank you so much for that and showing us that health transformation is possible and it's practical, and it starts with meeting people where they are. So, thank you for that. And now let's make it personal. What's one small change that you feel ready to start today? If you could drop that in the chat, inspire each other, that would be great. We're ready to take your questions. That said, it's officially chat time. We want to hear from you in the global audience. So everybody turn on your chat with our expert panel. And Jessie, I'll turn it back to you so you can get some fantastic questions that I know I've been seeing drop in the chat. So wherever you are, Jessie, take it away, and the panel that's present will answer your questions.
Thank you, Randy. If you want to raise your virtual hand, if you have a question, then we can just do that, you can speak up, or if you want to post it in the chat. And I'm scrolling through if there's anything. No questions yet. Who has a question to our panelists? Susie, you're always so great with asking questions. I'm sure you have something.
Well, first, my question is, could we do without the slides?
Definitely.
So we can see each other.
Anything else, Randy, we need later on?
Yeah, well, I mean, just, we
I
can
can unshare it for now and then
Yeah, it's okay.
later, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I guess the one question that I have is, I'm lifestyle medicine and culinary medicine, and these terms, I guess, are they recognized in the medical profession, or how are they recognized? Because it even longevity medicine, I'm seeing that, and so I'm a little confused about, is it just something that people like to use, or where is it going?
I can take this question, Randy. Thank you. So culinary medicine has a history more or less like, Dr. Murillo was mentioning, about 20 years from now, when this was introduced in 2004, actually, as a first elective in medical school, is now a need in the United States, mainly in our society, of course, because our standard American diet is making a lot of people sick. We needed to teach our patients how to prevent and how to eat better, right? So the problem is that on the medical field, we are not trained in medical schools on how to counsel patients. The root of the problem is our core curriculum, the skills that we have during medical school. We're not taught nutrition in that way. So this is coming now to empower physicians to learn how to really counsel, discuss with patients a daily shopping list. Like, I'm a pediatric gastroenterologist. I see a lot of 90% of the kids that I see is all diet related issues. Of course, I have a lot of other problems, but mainly if I sit with the parents and talk to them about, things that increasing fiber, increasing certain foods that decrease reflux, decrease constipation, is a joy, right? Not to prescribe. So nowadays, since 2018, there is a board, an American College of Culinary Medicine. There is a board, actually, that we can get board certified. So culinary medicine is a legit. It's here to stay. It's going to medical schools. Is getting empowering residents, fellows across the board in our graduate medical schools to really start using this as a new tool to innovate and how to translate nutrition to our patients. I hope I kind of gave you a little speech about it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Deborah. We have Natasha asking a question next.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the interesting insight. I was curious to know about more information globally. I know that your initiative showed a lot of percentages and stats and so on in the US. So I, for myself, live in Italy. My husband's an Italian chef here, and I have a background in Ayurvedic cooking because my heritage is Indian. And I wanted to know how much of this was derived. I saw your comparative map between, I believe it was Mediterranean diet and the anti-inflammatory diet. How much of that has been derived from sort of other types of Eastern philosophy cuisine? And then also sort of piggybacking onto Susie, is this terminology accepted with the American market right now? Because a lot of our clients are coming here from America, and if we were to say, oh, this has a backing or a scientific backing on lifestyle medicine, is that currently accepted? Thank you.
I can start a little bit of question too, and Leon, please come in. So the anti-inflammatory diet is actually derived from Asian pyramid, the Asian, pyramid in the Mediterranean diet is a step forward on those two diets combined. I mean, the Mediterranean diet is probably one of the most sustainable diets if you want to start a client on, and the most studied diet in the world, in the literature. So the anti-inflammatory diet is like a cousin of those two together and come into this even more plant forward, even more like the Ayurveda diet that you are the chef and counseling from. That one emphasizes actually, I love it, this prana, this idea of life force energy, right? Is a little bit then there is a spiritual side of the Ayurveda, which is beautiful, but they go hand to hand together. And yes, here in the United States, I think more and more us as physicians, we've been talking to our patients about anti-inflammatory foods, and giving them the tools they needed to get there, to optimize their nutritional value foods.
Dr. Duro, if you want, I can take the second half of the question about is it accepted, but please chime in as well. I think like I started in the beginning saying I wouldn't be surprised if many of you hadn't heard of culinary medicine. I also wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't heard of lifestyle medicine. However, that being said, there have been like literally thousands and thousands of physicians and other clinicians around the globe that have been board certified in lifestyle medicine. I think the first year was 2017. So it is, there's hundreds of health systems that are part of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. So it is certainly gaining more and more prevalence and visibility, but it is not something that, everyone has heard of, like, going to see a cardiologist or something like that. I did, just to kind of piggyback off of that, as well as the question I saw in the chat about the best way to find a lifestyle medicine physician. There is a directory that I believe is publicly available. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can share it with the team to perhaps include in the follow-up email so we could get that for you. And then that would give you a sense too. You could even look by state to see how prevalent it is, how prevalent lifestyle medicine board certified physicians are in a particular region in the United States. And I can't speak to the directory outside of the United States, but that's the information that I could share.
Thank you so much for that. Harvey, you have a question. Please unmute.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be here. I always love to attend something and hear from the medical perspective. I'm a chef, trained for 25 years, so and I rebelled into plant-based food. So my whole idea and perception of the food is not to be just a gourmet thing. It's a fuel. It's what creates us. But the replica on Deborah, you mentioned that there is a seed problem in the curriculum, right? In the education in the medicine education. Yes, I think that is the truth. But also, what do you think about the idea of eating habits being built in schools, in the elementary schools and high schools? There is no knowledge being shared there. And the food that they're eating, kids are eating, being that in US, or I'm from Croatia, I was living in Denmark for many years. I mean, the food is always this palatable, let's say, right? So mostly with cold cuts and stuff that are actually being proved to be carcinogenic. So partly, what do you think about the idea of medical media trying to channel the education to the elementary and high schools, not only to children, but to the catering services that actually need to start building eating habits from seed?
No, thank you for your comment, and I think that is a very interesting point. And yes, indeed, I mean, a lot of the school systems work with a budget, unfortunately, right? And they have already those places that they had to acquire food and do stuff. But I think with the education now that we have and this responsibility, knowing culinary medicine, this beautiful field that we can give it back now to patients, some nutritional knowledge, to institutions, to hospitals, my hospital cafeteria, even here in my hospital, I'm being working side by side with my dietitians to try to deliver better food to our inpatient, okay? Which is every time I go to do rounds and I see what the patients are eating, like I wonder why the patient has abdominal pain. I wonder why the patient is here. So it is a change in cultural and is a shift in the paradigm, the way we have to think about food. Like you said, I also believe in more than just being palatable and delicious and looking great. I believe, we are responsible for what we fuel our body, our soul, our mind, and all that as an engine will exceed the potential when we do better nutrition, right? So with you, I'm 100% that we have to start in schools. We have to start. I have, thank God, as a pediatrician, I can talk, in the beginning with families that mothers came to see me as they are pregnant or they just had the baby, so I can have this influence in their lives, discussing already, healthy foods and healthy lifestyle. So this start very early on, and we are responsible for that. Absolutely.
Thank you, Deborah. I also think that one point Susanna mentioned here, that portion size is also a big issue, especially in America. Growing up in Germany and coming to the US, it was for me always mind-boggling how big the portions are at restaurants or what people normally eat. So I feel that is definitely also for plant-based foods, it's the portion size is really important. And is that something that gets addressed in your teachings?
I can, Dr. Dura, do you want me to go first?
Go to.
Okay. Yes, I definitely portion size is addressed, and as a quote that I also love from Michael Pollan was listed, eat plants. Now that's not coming to me. Eat plants. What is it again, Dr. Duro? That's not coming to me. Eat food, mostly plants, not too much. There we go. The not too much, the portion size, it is critical. So that is definitely an aspect of what's taught in the teaching kitchen. And, I'm not a clinician, so I don't want to speak out of line, but what I have learned from all of my clinical partners, physicians, registered dietitians, et cetera, is that with more whole food and plant-based eating, the beauty of it is that we don't have to be as conscientious as portion size and calories, because there's just such great calorie density to it. So that also kind of, equation is definitely brought into the teaching kitchen as well. And oftentimes it can be a relief for folks that have been trying to manage weight or disease by, measuring out everything they eat. You can often take away that burden and still gain really significant health improvements when you're enjoying whole foods. Dr. Duro, anything to add?
No, I think you said it all. I mean, when we are having more a plant-forward diet, the society also is part of the fiber mechanism in our gut, in our stomach. I mean, we feel much more satiated with much less, right? So that is another thing. But the whole idea of the culinary medicine is really, I see as like optimizing the higher nutritional value we can get in a meal. So getting the best ingredients we can in terms of nutritional value, and doing a recipe to transform as more plant forward as we can. So to me, like that is big principles that we have once we are catering either a diabetic, a hypertension, an obesity, a lactose intolerance, a Crohn's patient, is about teaching them to do recipes more plant forward. So portion size is important, but like Leon said also, we get very easy early on satiated with the amount of fiber.
Thank you so much. Randy, over to you.
Yeah, I just thank you everybody for joining us today. Just a few things to look forward to. Thank you for our team's input. We'll be posting this information at our page of the Global Wellness Institute. It's the Lifestyle Medicine Initiative at the Global Wellness Institute. And what you can expect from us also is the next upcoming webinar in December. We will be featuring workplace wellness, which is one of our trends. And within that, we'll be talking about designing comprehensive well-being in the workplace. And we'll be featuring Dr. Sunil Kumar and Elizabeth Shai. If you scan the QR code here, you can keep up on our page and obviously the next webinar that will be upcoming. So we look forward to that. You can follow us at Lifestyle Medicine Initiative at Global Wellness Institute. Feel free to be part of the Global Wellness Institute. It is one of the best organizations that I've ever been a part of. You can be an ambassador, you can get involved. I want to thank Susie Ellis and Jesse and Heidi and Ophelia and Catherine, the research team, and everybody behind the organization. We're truly excited about the platform they give us. And to all of you out there that tuned in today, thank you so much for your questions, for our team, and just continue to live well, be well, and eat well, because food is medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And again, you will receive a follow-up email by the end of the day with the recording and the chat, etc. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.